And we are live. Let's see here. Welcome to all of those watching the replay. We are just beginning now. I'm here with Amber Campion. Hello, Amber.
Hello, hi.
And just as we gather and people start coming on, we welcome you, and we're excited to come together. Me here in the jungle. If I start sweating, that's why, or start fanning myself. And Amber is in Santa Cruz in California. So love technology and love that we can come together in this way and share with you and really feel this connection of sisterhood, even through the ethers, through our hearts and through the ethers. So welcome. I'm Sofiah Tom, and today Amber Campion and I will be sharing really 4 major points and tools to help you to discover your true feminine power. And really, you know, what's so powerful about our feminine power is that it's about being in the moment. It's about being here in our bodies. And so Amber and I are both yogis and movers and shakers, and here to share with you. So I'm going to introduce Amber now, who I first had the pleasure of meeting actually when I invited Amber to come and participate with Envision Festival. And this was back in the beginning days of Envision. And at that point, Amber had created this fusion style called Yogera, that was yoga and capoeira fused together. So me being a fusionista, loved that idea and got to bring Amber on. And then we magically got connected last year to come together and to create a teacher training together. And Amber has a 200-hour yoga teacher training school, and she not only is an amazing yogi who has now evolved from Yogera into other beautiful teachings in yoga, really connecting in with how the brain and how our mindsets really inform us in our yoga and in our world. So she's bringing that through now in her yoga practice, but also is a success coach. So she coaches women, I think mostly, and men, but to really find their true path and their potential and to live powerfully. So I'm excited to be here today with you, Amber. Welcome.
Thanks, and thanks for that introduction. I want to take a moment and introduce you as well. So I know that there's a mixture of people on here. Some people know Sofiah more and some people know me more. So we wanted to go on and introduce each other. And we wanted to do it in a way that was, rather than us reading our bios, which you could go onto our websites and find, that we just wanted to introduce each other from our hearts. And I think as it's a perfect way to do this with this topic, this feminine power, because one thing that I have found that is so powerful about women is this kind of exchange of love and really being able to see each other. And as Sofiah said, we first met when she hired me for Envision. And I do remember, one thing that I remember about her at Envision is she's one of the co-founders. She was very, very busy that day. And she was responsible not only for every single yoga teacher at the festival, but she was a performer there. She had a clothing line that she was operating. And then also she's well known at Envision. So just everyone wanted her attention. And when I arrived, I needed support with something. I think the sound system wasn't, I forget what was going on, but something was going on. So I found Sofiah, and she immediately, even though you could tell, she had a million things going on, she just stopped and was with me. And she's okay, with her beautiful voice, she's I have a few things I have to do first, but just follow me, come with me, and then we'll go take care of your thing. And so we're just walking around probably for 20 minutes, her doing what she needed to do. And then she helped me. And it was just an incredible moment of wow, this woman really truly operates with grace. here she is, just so much going on, and she wasn't catty with me, she wasn't short with me, just this incredible presence. And then co-leading the teacher training with her last year, again, just completely touched by her being, she walks her talk. And it's an incredible thing to be in her presence. I mean, she's done amazing things in her life. She has opened up an incredible place in Costa Rica. She is one of the co-founders of Envision Festival. She has birthed many different things, all the way from Danyasa, which is now her space in Costa Rica, used to be her form of yoga, which has now become her studio space. And now she's the creator of the Temple Body Arts and has all these amazing things. She's constantly birthing and bringing into the world a lot of gifts. The thing that I really want to share with all of you that you're not going to read on her bio is that she is an incredible, like, the thing that I love about Sophia is that, and I think I told her this when I first met her, is that she has this energy that's like if you were to meet like a 7-year-old little girl or something, and she's like dancing around, and we would never like judge her because it's so clear that she's coming from this place of truth and innocence, and it's real. And now here's this grown-up woman, 40 years old, everyone, believed or not, and she's still operating from that same energy. It's so authentic, and it's so beautiful, and it's incredible to call you my friend, Sophia.
Oh my gosh, I need a tissue. Thank you, Amber. Yeah, wow. Well, thank you. Tears in my eyes, and I think that and feel that just this introduction and way of coming together is really one of the first points of really discovering our true feminine power is through sisterhood. And it's really, in this rise of the feminine. So we will go deeper into that. And first, I just want to let all of you know, and I see some of you writing in the sidebar, so we have Rebecca from Portugal and Andra from Toronto and Kansas City and Alaska. Please feel free to say hello on the sidebar. I think everybody can see those messages.
Yeah.
And we will have an opportunity later for you to ask questions. So we will be covering, we'll be covering, different points. So Amber is going to be covering 2 really vital points to discovering your true feminine power, which is first, the one word to remove from your vocabulary that will powerfully open you to your truth, intuition, and insight. So just feeling that, and also how to discover what your true values are and the importance of this in creating a powerful life by design. We'll both be sharing about the power of sisterhood. And then for me, really, sharing about the different faces of the goddess and the archetypes of the goddess and how that can support you in really knowing your own feminine power in your everyday life. And with that, it's really about embodiment. So I think the key to all of this is that our power lives in the body and lives in our present moment of being here now. So we will be sharing those points, and then we'll have a time at the end. We'll be sharing about our upcoming teacher training, which is filling up fast. And that's happening October 23rd through November 13th. And it's actually a 22-day immersion. So it's like full on, come here in the jungle and just immerse yourself. And so that's happening soon. And we just launched a scholarship opportunity for a $2,000 scholarship towards the training. So that's happening for the next month. You can apply. So we'll be sharing more about that. And if you have questions or want to connect with us around the training, we'll offer that at the end of this webinar. So let's just take a breath there. And I'm just going to guide us in a short centering meditation and just to connect with this powerful full moon right now as well. So I invite you all to just really find a comfortable seat. And just connecting into your breath. So beginning to just slow down and take some nice deep inhales through your nose. and out through your mouth. The breath. The breath is here to support us, to bring us into the present moment, to begin again with each new breath. So really breathe in fully, in through your nose, filling your belly, filling your chest, filling your back with your breath. And then exhale, emptying out completely. And continuing to breathe deeply like this as you envision the full moon above us. This full moon. And the full moon is in Aquarius. It's inviting us to step into our Dharma, to offer ourselves in service. And feel this illuminating power, literally illuminating your cells of desire inside your body. What is it that you truly desire to show up as, to live, to be the goddess you were born to be? So really, as each breath fills your body, invite this light to illuminate your own inner light. So that whatever is ready to be unveiled, to be seen, to be nurtured today on this cool and under this full moon, that it may come to be. And so just really feeling the space that you've all created to be here now, feeling connected with all the other women on this call, feeling that thread of gratitude that we have this opportunity to connect wherever we are and whatever's going on in the world, that right now, just feeling your body. Bring your awareness into your pelvic floor, into your lotus flower yoni portal. So this is, the yoni is a Sanskrit word for vagina. And this is really the seat of our soul, the seat of our body, the portal into our temple body. And see this lotus flower and imagine its roots from your lotus flower moving down through the different layers of the earth. See your lotus roots moving down, 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 deeper and deeper. With each exhale, getting deeper into the earth until you find a rose quartz crystal in the center of the earth, and wrap your roots around this crystal as you infuse and invite the energy of unconditional love from this crystal. Feeling the Mother Earth holding you. Releasing, letting go whatever is not needed anymore through your exhale, just offering it to Mama Tierra, to Mother Earth. Releasing, letting any sound come out as you let go. And then feel the pulse of the earth. Feel the breath of the earth. Feel this pulse and stay connected to this rose quartz crystal, but begin to bring your awareness now back up your roots. Coming higher and higher and higher and higher until you reach your lotus flower, yoni portal. And begin to pull the petals of your lotus flower up, activating your root, and bring your awareness now up into your womb space. And begin to breathe and pulse in your womb and align it, activate it. Feel the relationship with the pulse of Mother Earth, with the pulse of your womb. So feeling your breath and feeling this pulse. And feeling into whatever is present with you right now in your body as we gather here into this moment. Just becoming fully present without judgment. Noticing what is here in your body, in your womb space of creation. a space of power. Exhaling, releasing, letting go, whatever you are ready to release. Releasing and emptying so that you can be fully present here now to receive, to listen, to open your inner ears, to listen to any guidance that may come for you on your path in your life right now. So staying connected to the earth, feeling rooted, feeling connected to your womb space. And then just taking your hands, one hand on your heart and one hand on your womb. Just fully arriving here now, present, feeling the power within your body in this moment. Feeling the power of being connected even through this virtual time, but feeling the connection through our hearts and through our wombs and through our desires to wake up on this evolutionary path. Beautiful. Just feeling connected, feeling present. Beautiful. When you feel ready, you can either open your eyes or just stay inward, just listening as we continue with this discussion and dialogue today. And if anything comes up at any point, please just write it in the chat box. We are here to connect with you. So thank you.
Beautiful meditation, Sophia.
Thank you. Yeah, I've really been going deep personally for me right now into my womb. And this was not planned, but I'm feeling called to share that, you know, as women, we do hold so much power, and one of them is the power to create life. There's nothing actually more powerful than that. And I've been calling in a baby for the last almost 4 years with my husband, with no luck, until March I got pregnant for the first time. And it was so incredible to feel my womb and to feel life happening inside. Like I would just lie there just feeling this incredible energy and felt so connected to this life, to this soul. And at 7 weeks, I went for my ultrasound to find out that it was not actually growing inside the sac, and that they told me that it would, my body has the wisdom that it would know that it was time to release. And actually what happens, you know, miscarriages happen all the time, like 1 to 2 out of 4 pregnancies. And it's not talked about. And so I feel like our power is about speaking our truth in this as well. And that's why I'm feeling called to share it right now. You know, but when the cells come together, it's magic, it's mystery that, you know, we can create life. But if one little thing is not perfectly aligned as the cells come together, our body knows. Our body is that wise that it knows that, no, this is not a viable one, and it will not move forward with the pregnancy. And so it's not that anything's necessarily wrong with me or with any of us when a pregnancy does not go through. And so, you know, for me, it was really huge in connecting to my womb on this deeper level, and trusting in the mystery and trusting in the divine. And I have really been just focusing on the positive, focusing on the fact that I did get pregnant and that I can get pregnant, and just feeling closer to that. And using this time, I feel like I've been like given this magical time now to really birth my sacred work on another level. And so I've been working with my womb every day. I made a commitment to Doug. It's been incredible to feel the power of my creativity and my femininity and my sexuality. And I've been working with the jade egg practices, and oh my gosh, so much energy, so much creative sexual energy. It's amazing. And I had this meditation the other day that a friend of mine led, where I was breathing with the earth, like I just shared with you, with my womb, and it was incredible. And so I feel like, you know, for so many centuries and times in life as women, we have forgotten our own power in simply connecting to the cosmos, to our innate wisdom, to, you know, we have access to everything within us, and within our womb, I feel like is really the space where we can connect in even deeper. And, you know, now is the time, like now is the time on this path of evolution, this path of women waking up to our power. And it's so exciting. And, you know, the amount of women leaders that are stepping forward to share their message, like there is enough for everyone. Like this is the time. And so it's just so exciting, because I feel this kinship and this remembrance and, you know, this priestess path that, you know, we're walking. It's like we are waking up to our truth as women and the power that we hold. And as we come together as sisters and recognize that we all hold this unique fingerprint of the goddess, and that it comes through our own unique voice and our own unique teachings, our own gifts, that there's enough for all of us to really share ourselves fully. And so I'm just so excited to be here with you, Amber, on this topic, because it just gets me so juiced up. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I love that you just spoke about that, and I'm sitting here going, this is exactly you embodying what I believe is true feminine power, and something that I think is not often talked about in leadership, and that I believe women are really bringing to the forefront and saying this is what the new leadership needs to look like, is bringing our personal lives into it and not separating them, and not saying like leadership or our professional life is on one side of the wall and then our personal life is on the other side of the wall. And even when I was hearing you sharing, is you're sharing something deeply personal, but you brought it around to something that like we can learn from that. And what I was really hearing is like, here's this thing that you wanted, this thing that you've desired for 4 years now. You've put energy and attention into it, and it didn't unfold exactly the way that you had hoped. But rather than letting that break you down, letting that make you feel weak or less or give up, instead you're like, how is this making me stronger? What are my lessons? How can I use this to serve and teach? And how can I let other women know that they're not alone? Like, to me, I was like, this is true feminine power right here. This is leadership. And yeah, I'm seeing what people are writing, and yeah, it resonates. It's like I felt what you were speaking about. And yeah, I really appreciate you. If you don't mind, I also feel like it's kind of leading into one of the points that I want to share, which is the first thing I want to share with everyone here. This is something that has radically shifted my world. My entire coaching practice is based on this foundation. And without a doubt, when you really start to understand how this one particular world is operating in your world, and you become conscious of it, and you consciously begin to notice how it's shaping not just your reality, but shaping you as a person, your emotions, the way that you're perceiving the world, and consciously begin to remove this from your language, your world will shift. And that one word is should. Should. And we all say it all the time. I should be meditating more. I should finish my degree. I should call my mom. I should go work out. I shouldn't eat that, right? It's in our dialogue, our conversation, our words, our language so much. And the word should, it's like these are all the unbreakable kind of rules that we have for ourselves that didn't actually come from us. They either came from our families, our parents, from our society, from our religions. They are from our cultures. These are all of the ways in which we think we should be, what we should have, and what we should be doing, or what we shouldn't be, what we shouldn't have, and what we shouldn't be doing. And it can be one of those things where just on the surface you think, oh, this isn't really affecting me that much. But if you really take some time and look at your life and start to notice where you're operating from the shoulds, you'll really begin to see right down to, I mean, when I really started to unfold where I was operating from the word should, I mean, just to give you one example, I think examples and stories are really helpful for me to understand. When I started my business as a coach about 2 years ago, I was following what everyone was telling me I should do with starting my business. And I was downloading every webinar, and I was buying so many trainings. And I mean, my email inbox was it just was so full all the time with all of these subscriptions that I was signing up for. And I was just trying to do what everyone else was telling me I should do to grow my business. Like, you should post every single day on all of these social media platforms, in fact, several times a day. And another big one is you should be making a certain amount of money. And I didn't even recognize that, because we all, I imagine, like most of us, some people say no, like maybe, and that's the thing. This is the thing, is there are definitely people out there, you guys, that like their idea, if they really broke it down, their idea of success maybe would be like minimalism, like they don't want money, right? So even this idea of how much money we should make is so imprinted in us, depending on our culture, depending on what we're surrounded by. And I realized that I was operating on this should with money. And this was this idea of 6 figures. And keep in mind, at this time, I had no idea of what I would do with that money. I had no pockets for it yet. I hadn't actually broken it down into my reality yet. It was just, I should make 6 figures. And then I realized I was attaching my self-worth to that number, to a number that wasn't even mine. It was just what everyone was putting on social media. Like, you should be making this amount. And when you hit that number, then you are good enough. Then you are successful. And I really didn't have any containers, like, okay, well, when I make this much, that means this will happen and this will happen. So there was no actual direction. I was just operating on, I must hit the number of 6 figures, and then I will have arrived. And what I realized is that I was starting to, I started to not want to teach. I didn't want to teach anymore. I didn't want to coach anymore. I was really starting to question whether or not I had spent the past decade of my life going in the wrong direction, because I wasn't enjoying my day-to-day, because I was making choices based around this should. And once I got really clear on that, it was literally like a weight released from me. And it doesn't mean that like I don't want to have that, but all of a sudden it was like I had direction on like what was, I was asking more powerful questions. Let's put it that way. Like, I was asking questions like, well, what do I really need to have all of my needs met? First of all, what is that number? And then what does that number look like for me to have all my needs met, plus this amount in my savings, plus being able to pay for all the things I want to do, the coaches I want to have, the trainings I want to do, the clothes I want to buy without any shame, like what are those things? And then what's that number look like that would take me to that level that would kind of like be like, whoa, wow, and that number, what would I be doing differently then? Like, what exactly would I be doing? So it's not just this I should. And from that, I actually started to make some real goals that were compelling and exciting. I was being pulled towards a vision that was actually created by me versus just this magical number of shoulds that was feeling stressful. And I started having fun again. I started actually enjoying the work that I was doing in the world. And on top of that, it was like, it got me present, but I guess the difference is that the goal became real to me. It was a vision that was mine versus someone else's. And I think this happens all the time. You know, it happens all the time. People feeling like they should go to school to get a certain degree. Maybe they're following a path that their family has done. Or they should, for instance, I hear this all the time. I'm 37, Sophia's 40. Many of our friends are in that late 30s, all the way up to our 50s. And I hear it all the time. Women at this age are saying, I should have a baby soon because I won't be able to have one soon. And my paradigm is, I mean, I just had a friend who had a baby actually 2 years ago now at 48 years old. So I'm like, I got like 8 years. I don't, you know, so even just noticing that should, like, oh, I should have a baby because I'm now in my late 40s, you know, which creates a really different energy, you know? Where I even hear people saying I should have a baby because I don't want my kid to have an old mom. It's just like noticing these paradigms in which we're operating from that aren't even ours, that were handed down to us by our societies, by our religions, by our cultures, by our friends, by our families. Some of them well-intentioned and some of them not so much. Just starting to look at that. And one way that you can do that is just notice it. Notice it the next time you say, I should, and then fill in the blank. And another thing to notice is sometimes we switch out the word I should with I need. So like, oh, I know I need to do that. And you'll even hear it in your tone. I hear it with my clients all the time. Like, I know I need to do that. And I'm like, wait a minute, stop. You don't need to do anything. What I want to know is what you want to do, you know? So, and that's, you can ask yourself that. You don't need a coach to ask you that. When you hear yourself saying, I should do this, or I need to do this, just notice that, take a deep breath and get clear on the why. Like, why should you do it? Why do you need to do it? And check in and see if that's real for you, or if you're just operating from a model of reality that needs to be updated.
Yeah. Yes, I would love to chime in. Wow, yeah. It's so amazing, really, you know, how we can create our lives in this way without being conscious of it. And I think that it's really like when we have the awareness, as you're saying, like we can begin to become aware of really where we're giving our power away. Because, you know, just as you were moving through life, and I mean, I can completely relate. Even a year ago, like I just finished doing the 13 Moon Mystery School. So I've been on the priestess path the last year. And the biggest thing that I have brought away from that is recognizing that I was giving my power away, thinking that I needed somebody else to guide me to the next level, or that I needed to do these things to get me to this place. And it's like so ego driven as well. And really, it's this way that we give our power away by, you know, even just saying like, oh, I should do this. It's saying, you know, when we say that word, we're not fully present to what we are doing in the moment and how we are responsible. Yeah. Like we are responsible in every moment for the choice of what we choose. And ultimately, you know, we have two choices, which I really believe is like we can choose love or we can choose fear. And they manifest and show up in many different ways, are veiled in many different ways. But ultimately, you know, this is the path, this is the choice we have. And when we continue to choose love or to choose our highest yes, or what really fills us up and nourishes you from the inside out, like you were saying, you find that joy, then, you know, you are connected to your power. You're connected to that creative Shakti flow, and that is our power. And then we can enjoy what we're creating because we're taking responsibility and we're creating it. Yeah.
And I think part of this evolutionary leadership and this feminine power is about us being, and this is, you ladies, this is not just for women. When we talk about feminine power, men can access this too, right? But what I see as evolutionary leadership and feminine power is when people who are stepping into a leadership role, which I think is everyone, it's when we decide to be the deciders of our life, is that it's coming from this place that's a lot more intuitive, a lot more in tune with what's real for us, you know? I think the old paradigm of leadership is following the patterns, right? The shoulds, just following that. There's actually, I want to mention a very, very kick-ass book that just came out in May. There's a man named Vishen Lakhiani. He wrote this book called The Code of the Yeah. He's okay. So he's the creator.
Well, you know, please show it to everybody.
Yes. Yeah. So this man, Vishen Lakhiani, he wrote this book, which just came out in May. It's called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. He is the creator of Mind Valley, which is this online educational platform from spirituality to personal development, professional development. And he's also the creator of A-Fest, which stands for Awesomeness Fest.
Awesomeness Fest.
Which Sofiah danced at. So this book, he actually talks about the shoulds as, and he says like the top 1% people, these are all his friends too, like Tony Robbins and, you know, like epic people he talks about in this book that he interviewed and hung out with. And he said all of them do not operate from should. And he actually created a word for it. He calls them brules. B-R-U-L-E-S, brules. I'll write this down. And what they stand for are bullshit rules. Which I think is really light and funny. And this book is an incredible book that really not only helps you understand more deeply where you're operating from, as he calls your rules, or, you know, just when you're shoulding. He also gives like some very practical tools on kind of breaking down the different areas of your life and going into some pretty powerful stream of consciousness writing exercises to really see like, what is it that you really want for yourself, truly, truly want for yourself? And where are you operating from the rules versus taking action towards the direction that you really want to be taking? So highly recommend it. I'll write the book down right now. It's called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. So, so good. So people, and the reason I brought that up is, you guys, this evolutionary leadership is happening. Like, people are writing books about it. It's being talked about. It's getting out there. It's a really new model of reality that is now, instead of like just 1% of society operating from that place, that new model of reality is getting out to the general public. And things are going to be different, very different for everyone, rather than just 1% of the population operating in that level. That's going to become the norm. So it's happening.
Yes, it is so happening. And I feel like with that, there's like, there's this movement that is very much, you know, online, and all of these, visionary people that are really recognizing our own creative power. And there are different lenses to see this through. And, you know, mindset is huge. And the last few years, I've really been recognizing that more and more, that ultimately that's the work that I'm doing, but through a very different lens, which is through the goddess archetypes. And really recognizing that we have these different capacities and qualities within us that can support us in moving through life in a more empowered way. And to see that the shoulds, you know, and just kind of operating from this unconscious place of following, you know, the path that's been led before us, rather than questioning and looking at, how do I want to show up? Like, what is my dharma? You know, and dharma being really like our purpose, our, you know, what really fills us from the inside out. And I think, you know, being on this path, this evolutionary path, in, you know, as a yogini, creating these yoga teacher trainings, and then guiding women to connect to the goddess within, is just so powerful. And there's this huge movement happening right now with that. And so it's been really amazing for me to kind of step back from, you know, leading the main portion, I guess, of the yoga teacher training. I mean, there's been a shift for me in the last year or so where I recognized, like, this isn't my total yes to be like, you know, fully leading this yoga teacher training and teaching all the asanas and all of the different stuff that Yoga Alliance says we should and have to have. But for me, it was like, okay, what do I love? What is my dharma? What is my message? What is it that I'm being called to bring? And I really, like, it's been amazing to bring you in, Amber, and also work with Sarah Lynn, but to work with other powerful women leaders. You know, you have your own school, and I can then bring like my school of thought into your school to create this one school. And so as a yoga teacher, you know, this is one way that we can show up as a leader and to guide people into the power within their bodies. So yoga is this brilliant form, you know, and ultimately, like, when I say, so form, embodiment, which is a word that is used a lot more now, thankfully, but I'm not even sure if everybody even understands totally what that means. But embodiment is really about bringing the intangible into form. So just feel that for a moment. The intangible into form. And we do that in yoga. We do that in dance. We do that as we walk through the world, as we hold ourselves. So, you know, we're telling a story. We're telling a story in every moment through our bodies, and how we bring the unseen through our bodies and bring it into form. And so working with, you know, the goddesses that I have been called to work with at this time are Kuan Yin, and I start with her, and she's the only Buddhist goddess, but I am so deeply connected with her. She is the Divine Mother. She is the one who can help us to forgive, to let go, to have compassion, to accept. And if we're going to be on this evolutionary path, we have to know how to do all of those things. So, you know, really by accessing her within us, because really ultimately it's about awakening these energies within our own body. So through different practices, through different mantras and practices and movement, meditation, we're able to connect to this energy that can support us on this evolutionary path. We move into Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the Hindu goddess of abundance, of wealth, of beauty. Ultimately, her biggest message that I recently really got, and it takes time, is like, my presence is enough. My presence is enough. So everyone just say that and just take a breath, obviously, like, my presence is enough. Take a deep breath. We're not taught that that's our truth. But when we can really access this truth, that is true power. My presence is enough. That is power. That is our power. So working with Lakshmi, working with Durga, she is the warrior goddess. She is the one to call on when nothing else helps. And to find that space within us, that to cut away and to find discernment, because in order to say yes to what we truly want, we have to be able to cut away the shoulds, to cut away what no longer serves, to really find discernment on this path. We move into Kali. Kali is the dark goddess, but she's the one we need to embrace our shadow. We need to be able to look at our demons, to, you know, really look at our ego, and then to burn it and to slay it and to offer it to the fire so that we can rise up. And what I love about Kali is that even as fierce as she is and scary, that she exhales only love. So feeling that energy, like she can support us on this path. And then moving into Lalita, she is the goddess of spiritual eroticism. So to really say yes to our highest desire, to our creative sexual power, to harnessing that within us, and to saying yes to following what we're truly desiring from that high place is so powerful. And then Saraswati. So she is the goddess of creativity, of sound, of insight. So to really give ourselves connection to that power of knowledge, of wisdom, of sound, of creativity. And so as we access these different faces of the goddess within us, in our everyday life, we then are able to connect into these places of power within us, and to see our own shadow, and to see where we give power to the shadow, where we give power to these parts of ourselves that are not actually supporting us on this evolutionary path. And so it's been amazing to weave in this course that I've created, this Temple Body Awakening that I do online. You can also get that certificate and those 25 hours like within the teacher training, because, you know, Amber and I feel like the power of really embodying and understanding these deities, these energies within us, can support you on this evolutionary path of being a leader, to find your own unique expression of the goddess.
Yeah. I love so much what you just shared, Sophia. What's fun for us ladies is obviously we have a plan, right? We're like, but what comes out and what we say, like, it's not like we have a speech here. So it's fun for us to go back and forth like this. And also I want to make a note, this is not wine, it's water. I'm like,
oh,
I wonder if everyone's like, yeah. What I want to say, like when she was, for instance, when she was talking about Lakshmi, and I noticed a couple of you like made comment, like it touched you, right? You felt a tear in your eye. And something that I find that is so powerful about this teacher training that Sophia and I bring together is we have these two elements that we are both passionate about. Like Sophia is deeply passionate about the goddesses, and she brings them forward in this incredibly epic way where we truly do, like, it's not just theory talking about it. She takes us through these phenomenal life-changing embodiment practices where we get to actually embody and feel in our bodies the energy of that particular goddess. But on a deeper level, yeah, you're learning shit like, I'm enough. And then on the flip side, here's me, who's super into, you know, the mind-body connection. I'm such a geek for neuroscience and practical psychology. Like that's all I'm studying all day long. But I want to teach the same stuff. So like, for instance, this is what I want to say, where she's going to bring in someone like Lakshmi to teach you about that. And it's freaking amazing. I'm going to introduce you right now to someone named Marissa Peer, who is an incredible hypnotherapist. And if you guys type in, go to YouTube and you type in, write this down in case you're not in front of a computer, and you type in Marissa Peer, and her name is spelled, and I'll type it in a minute, Marissa, Marissa, and Peer, P-E-E-R, and then the words I am an F after. The first video that's going to come up is a video of Marissa Peer speaking at A-Fest, at Awesomeness Fest. It's a 42-minute talk that is unbelievable. It got voted like the best talk there. And it's titled, The Biggest Disease Affecting Humanity. I'm Not Enough.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's exactly, and this is what I love about Sophia and I's training, because here we go. She'll bring in that end, like we'll embody it. We'll talk about it through the goddesses. And then I'm going to give you some more on the, like, now here's a hypnotherapist in a talk, and, you know, and what's nice is it speaks to both sides of the brains, you know, and it really allows for different people, different strokes to come in. And some of us, we feel a little more like connected to the practical, or, you know, and then some are a little more creative. And what I love about our training is it's like, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, you're going to find a sense of connection at the training, and then you're going to learn a new energy. Like Sophia has taught me so much, you know, from working with her. And I feel the same way, you know, hopefully I'm teaching her a lot too, because we're bringing the same lesson, but from a different perspective. And again, this is like hitting back at the power of feminine power. Like in some cases, people might look at it and go like, well, wouldn't you feel competition, or like, wouldn't you want to judge each other and say like, well, my way of teaching people that they're enough is better than your way, or feel like, oh, what if people like your way better than my way, or, you know, wouldn't it create like comparison or criticism? And what I find is, sure, if we're not truly tapped into our feminine power, that's probably where we'd go. but that is not the energy Sophia and I are bringing. And I think another thing that, without even putting words to it, in our trainings that we're teaching women, is to help lift each other up and to say, like, look how freaking amazing she is, to put a light on each other. I once heard from someone that the 3 things that dim our power and dim our light is when we criticize, compare, or complain. And truly, like, if you can, when I heard that, I was like, that's so true. Anytime I've ever compared myself to someone, my light dims. Every time I've criticized someone else because I was insecure, my light dimmed. And anytime I complained, instead of just being appreciative for what I have, like, you know, appreciating like where I'm coming from and my background and what I have to offer. So I start complaining, I don't know enough, I'm not enough, whatever. My light dims. And so true feminine power, I think, when we are coming from that space where we get that, right? We get that, and we're walking from that place. I'm seeing the time, and I don't know if you want, I want to kind of check in with you in front of everyone. Like, what do you think? Do you want to get into talking about the teacher training a little more, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like that's happening. I mean, if you want to weave in, you know, about our true values, I feel like that comes through with what we're choosing to say yes to in our lives. You know, what are you saying yes to is what you value, we hope. And so I feel like that would lead into our teacher training and saying potentially yes to that. So if you want to speak about true values.
And I'll keep it as brief as I can. This is another really important one. And oftentimes when we speak about values, what happens is people start spouting out their ideals rather than what their actual values are. And so the way for us to really touch in with what our true values are, what they really are, rather than just saying our ideals, like, oh, my values are freedom and peace, which are just ideals, right? And of course, hopefully all of us want that, but they're still ideals. They're not necessarily values. Your values are answering this question: what is your life demonstrating? What is your life a demonstration of? So what do you daydream about? What do you spend your money on? You know, that's a great way to know what your values are, right? Like, when I look at that, like, I'd say the majority of my money goes into personal development. I'm investing in trainings, in seminars, in books, you know, it's like, you know, personal development, growth is a value of mine. So what are you daydreaming, fantasizing about? What do you spend money on? What kind of people do you hang out with? Generally, what does your life demonstrate? And I want to say one quick thing about that, because when I was really doing value work with my coach, I realized I had this one value that I would have never even considered a value. And so my coach pointed out that this was his value. This is an old coach of mine. And he said comfort was one of his values. And I started to realize that's one of my values too. Because again, if I am looking at values not as ideals, but as what my life is a demonstration of, yes, like when I go to restaurants, the most important thing is the atmosphere, not the food. I mean, the food's important, but I want to be comfortable in the atmosphere. The clothes I wear, when I buy them, it's the most important thing is not how they look. First and foremost is how do I feel in them? Second is how do they look? Now, again, it doesn't negate the second, but what is like, what am I like? What is my life demonstrating? My home. I want it to like flow and look good. That's very important to me. But the number one thing is I want to be comfortable in my home, and I want people to come in and be comfortable. So I have like blankets and carpets, things that make people feel cozy. One of the main things when I got my new home is I was like, it has to have a spare room because I want a guest room. When guests come, I want them to be comfortable and have a, you know, so it's like, what is your life a demonstration of? And when you get what's important about this, you might go, well, why do I need to know exactly what my values are? And here's why. When you're clear on your top and come up with like your top core 5 values, any area of your life where you're hitting up against resistance, where you're trying to move forward, but there's resistance, check in and see if anything you're doing, being, calling in is in opposition to one of those five values. Because anytime you have resistance in your life, I almost guarantee that you're out of alignment with one of your core values. But if you don't actually know what your core values are, you're not going to be able to do that check-in and see where you can make some adjustments. And just to give an example, and then we'll be done with this, is imagine you're starting a new business and you're doing this, we'll say, in your home. And your office space, and say one of your core values is beauty. And your office space is a mess. It's chaotic. And to be honest, there's really nothing beautiful about it. And you're finding every day that you go and you work on your business, you're having all of this resistance. You don't want to be there. You're procrastinating, whatever. Well, you might look and go, well, wow, one of my core values is beauty. Yet every day I spend time in an environment that doesn't feel beautiful to me. That's until you create that. That would be like a must. Go buy some flowers and put them on your desk. Light some essential oils that smell delicious and make you feel beautiful. Put a beautiful outfit on, you know? Are you getting up every day and doing your work in pajamas, you know? And that will line you with your values. And when you're in alignment with your values, it really breaks away a lot of resistance for you to move forward and get what you want.
Beautiful.
So,
yeah, I think there's such powerful, simple ways of really looking at ourselves and where we're giving our power away and not fully stepping into our temple bodies and into the values that we hold dear to us. And, you know, I just see what we're valuing, like you said, is where we spend our money. I mean, that is the exchange that we use in this world to put value on things. And so, you know, with this teacher training, like, it's definitely an investment. But like you and I, Amber, we're constantly valuing ourselves and our own evolutionary path. I mean, any money that comes in, I'm like, oh, great, I have more money to pay my mentor. It's like, it literally works like that. Actually,
what training am I doing next?
Yeah. But I have to say, like, my mentor, Laura Hollick, I just completed something with her, and then like we wanted to go further, but I was like, okay, how can I afford this? And then both times now that I've said yes to her, I have I've taken on a new client. Like, a client has just come to me in that moment. And so it is trusting too, like, when we really value something, that the money comes to support us. Yep. There is no resistance. Like, the flow is there to support us in fully saying yes to ourselves. And so, yeah, really just recognizing that, because I know Amber and I have gone through that with ourselves and our own path, and we understand what an investment it is to say yes to yourself and to come down, to take 22 days here to immerse yourself, to unplug from your everyday life and to plug into this reality. And you know, but the life transformation that occurs in that 22 days is invaluable. And it's incredible. You know, I've held many teacher trainings now since 2012, and every single one, I mean, I'm just blown away at the level of transformation. And I've stayed in touch with many people, many of my students, and it's just incredible to see what they've created on all different levels. So even if you're not wanting to be a yoga teacher, just taking a teacher training, and especially with myself and Amber, it's like, it's about the personal development as much as anything. I mean, it's just going in deep.
And the women's leadership aspect.
Yeah, stepping into that as a woman, coming together in sisterhood and seeing how you can find your unique voice and offer your gifts. Yeah, so I actually want to share, because I don't know if any of you see, a few people have left now. So I'm going to put a link in here, and this goes to our teacher training. And you know, so we offer a scholarship, a $2,000 scholarship towards the training. And we just launched that. So it goes for the next month, where you can create a short video to share what it is that, you know, how you want to share your message with the world, and how this teacher training can support you. And I'm going to put the link, the details on the scholarship here. And if anybody has any questions right now, you know, for the teacher training, for the scholarship, anything at all, we are the early bird shared accommodations, I think, are pretty much sold out. Yeah, one spot left. Yeah. I'm actually in one of the rooms right now because my house is doing. So this is the shared accommodation. We took this amazing 20-foot container and we split it. That would be 2 different beds, and then there's another bed here, and it has.
Can they see outside? Can you show them how gorgeous it is outside? It's like we're in the jungle, you guys, in these like eco things that her and her husband.
Well, it's made from containers, yeah.
Yeah, so, shipping containers. It's pretty awesome. And of course, as you guys know through video.
Amber, if you stop talking, then it will show you live.
Okay.
So here, there we go. So yeah, this is our land here, and this is the container. So yeah, it's a 20-foot container here. It has a little deck. And you can see it's very bright. But yeah, just a little sanctuary here. So so yeah, if anybody has any questions about anything on that, we are here, and we can even stay on a little bit longer if anyone wants to chat with us. But yeah, it's been amazing to work with Amber, and I'm excited to see, you know, this full immersion, the 22 days. Even though it's pretty, you know, full on, we really weave it in with, you know, going to the beach and going to the waterfall and doing the goddess embodiment and sharing meals together here. And so it's definitely a well-rounded, immersive experience.
Yep. And I'll just say one thing too, because this morning my boyfriend was asking, he started asking about the teacher training, which was cute. And so I started talking about how I think it stands apart from other teacher trainings. And what I said to him, which is true, is that so you have some 200-hour teacher trainings that'll be very kind of your standard, like just following like the standard, maybe Yoga Alliance requirements, and it's just going to be super standard, and they're just going to make sure they hit those points, and that's it, and they're just going to get you your certificate and get you out there, right? And just so you know, this training, you will be certified through Yoga Alliance. So we hit those points. We make sure we get the certain amount of technique and hours and philosophy in there, though we weave it in a really interesting way. But how our training is different and what sets us apart is the creative and the leadership aspect that is brought into it that I have not seen anything out there like it. We have cacao ceremonies and waterfall excursions where we are doing practices there, and embodiment practices, yoga practices, breathwork practices, writing practices. Bring in techniques from the artist's way. We bring in practices from practical psychology to really help you, you know, yoga, even though it's become a very physical asana-based practice, yoga is about the mind. And so really weaving in practices from practical psychology for you to take the philosophy and the power that you're able to cultivate through yoga and really quickly start to see that transformation even in the short amount of time that we're together, and then take that with you. And then the leadership aspect, most 200-hour teacher trainings, their aspect of business is really short. It's like, I mean, it's basic 101, like go out, either own a yoga studio or go teach classes at a local yoga studio. Maybe you do some privates. That's about what you get for the training. But with Sophia and I, we both have more than a decade of teaching. We both are coaches as well. And besides being yoga teachers, we're entrepreneurs. So we've actually we're both making a good living doing what we do. And so we're really able to bring actual leadership and business skills to the training. I mean, even from like, there's a whole segment on public speaking for yoga teachers, things like that are really powerful. And just, I'm not seeing that happen in 200-hour teacher trainings.
No. And I mean, I've many teacher trainings that I hold too, people will come back and do it again and again. So even if you have your 200-hour, you know, I always say, I mean, each time I do it, I learn so much. So it's like coming back and doing it to just advance in your own teaching, but also in whatever you're creating in your life. So definitely it holds value for, I think, wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, beautiful. Yeah, well, we are available a click away if you'd like to email or connect with us, or even have you know, a one-on-one call just to get to know one of us more, to ask more questions. You know, we can be available to connect if you're really feeling called to this training, but you know, really want to feel it in every cell of your body before making this investment. So we're here to connect if you would like.
Yeah. Should we speak really quickly on the scholarship as well?
Yeah, I mean, I shared, you know, briefly, and I put the link. But yeah, it's, you know, we are offering $2,000 towards the scholarship, towards the full tuition, for the person who gets the most likes and shares from a video that you create. So it's really about offering your message through the video and how this training you feel can support you in sharing your message with the world. And so the more creative and fun, the better. It's been so amazing. And the women that have participated in the past, like even if they don't win, it's still been such an amazing experience for them to create that video and to put themselves out there in that way. And so yeah, that's happening for the next month. We're running that, and we'll be sharing the winner on September 20th. So I did share the link there below to find out more about the scholarship. I will share it again here, just so you have it as the last thing. So yeah, we look forward to seeing some of you sharing and creating videos. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun. I've been reading some of your comments. I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed this. And as she said, feel free to reach out to either of us, to Danyasa, if you have more questions. And if this is something that's moving you and you're feeling like this is a yes, do it sooner than later, because we are halfway full already. And to be honest, this is the first time Sophia and I are really even talking about it. Most of the people who already signed up because they knew about it from last year. We've just maybe made one post about it in a newsletter. So I would imagine that it's going to fill up pretty quick now that we're really starting to put it out there. Yeah,
so we look forward. I love it, Dana. Watch out for a juicy video. Wait, bring it on, ladies. Yes, we are here to inspire one another. And so, you know, inspiration is the highest form of living. I really believe. To inspire others and to be inspired. There's just nothing really better than that. So we hope that this has inspired you, and use those creative inspired juices today under the power of the full moon to really tap into what it is that you are wanting to create. You know, get clear about what your values are. Really look at how you're using your language to either give yourself power or to give away your power. And, you know, we really would love to hear how this has informed you, you know, how this webinar has, if you've taken value from this webinar, please, you know, share on the Facebook wall, because we'd love to hear that. And it's a great way to connect. I also actually have a, excuse me, I have a Facebook group called Temple Body Sisterhood. And so I'm just going to share that too on the link here so that you can join. It's just an open group, and I would love to have you on there. So here is the link for that, and enjoy the power of this moon. We hope to hear from you and hear how this experience has been for you. Here is the link to the Temple Body group, and feel free to share. Yay. Thanks so much for all your sweet little messages on the side there.
Yeah.
So much love. Thank you, Amber.
I love doing these kind of things with you. It's fun.
Yes. And I am coming to the States. I'm not actually quite 40 yet, but I'm turning 40 on August 31st, coming up here very soon, which just feels wild and amazing. And I'm going to be in LA, not going to the Burn this year for the first time because I'm creating space for something new. And I will be at Symbiosis. So if any of you out there are going to be at Symbiosis, I will be there. And I'll be teaching and performing, and I'd love to connect with you in person. So with that, sending so much love. Thank you, Amber.
Thank you.
And you will receive this replay so you can check it out. And we hope to hear from you.
And hope to see you in October.
Yes, yes. It's a beautiful time here. Okay, namaste. Ciao. Love to all of you.